All right, how you guys doing today? Exciting news, guys. So I found this local place, Performance Technique, owned by Jamie and Johnny. You guys are amazing. Look at these billet wheels, guys. So pretty much, I was able to talk to them, and they were able to hook us up. So pretty much, this is the custom billet turbo for the 15B. If you ask Jamie, go, hey Jamie, I want you to build me a Bob Pham CT15B. He's gonna build you this. So it comes with a custom wheel. I'm gonna be running these 15Bs on all of my future Gen 4 and Gen 5 swaps. They come with the VSR balance sheet. And if you guys want to do a standard rebuild, like just send in your old turbos and have it rebuild, refresh, the price is $395. Make sure just say, hey, just use the coupon code Bob Mr2. Okay. If you want the billet version, which is this guy, this is $600, $600. Pretty much billet wheel, bore out this inlet housing a little bit to compensate for the bigger inducer wheel. And then this is the exhaust side, same thing. So $600 for the billet wheel, turbo. They sandblasted it. They made it look nice and pretty. Stock wastegate. Now, if you guys want to go aftermarket wastegate, that's up to you. But yeah, this right here is $600. And they also do CT20B and 26. So these are all billet wheel as well. I went one size up a little bit. The price is $625 for the CT20 and the 26. For the 15B, it's only $600. And if you guys just want to use a regular rebuild, again, $395. So when he give you the invoice, he's gonna give you the VSR balancing sheet as well for each individual turbos, which is amazing. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Johnny. You guys are awesome. I hope we're pretty much gonna save you guys some money and then build some more faster MR2s on the racetrack. Okay, guys. I hope this helped. You guys like what I do? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Pretty much go to my Instagram, Bob Mr2. I do this for fun, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna try to find you guys a deal. If you guys pretty much buy their product, I can go to other vendors and other shops, see if they can hook us up. Just go, hey, you know what? I have a lot of MR2 guys that want to buy your stuff. So the more you guys support the vendors, I'm making no money off this. So this is you deal directly with performance technique, guys. Okay, they're in San Bernardino. Okay, I want to tag their Instagram and their Facebook as well. Okay, so they do custom turbos, any other stuff as well. I found them because they did my other stock turbo, my 26, and they did my Garrett turbo. And I was like, hey, you know what? Let's see if they can do a CT15B with the rebuildable wheel on it. And look at this, they're able to do it. So they're able to make these wheels for us, guys. So it's gonna have some pretty boosted cars. So so I'm gonna put this on the car, the Rev 5 MR2 that I have. I'm gonna flex fuel it. I'm gonna tune it and then let's see what these puppies can do. But yeah, man, I'm so super excited finding them and pretty much get you guys some good deals on these turbos as well. So hit up Jamie, hit up Johnny. Just go, hey, I saw your video on Bob Mr2. Pretty much, pretty much get my pricing pretty much. So yeah, you guys deal directly with them. I'm making no money off this. Pretty much just promote the local business here in SoCal. So the more you guys support them, the more I'm gonna go and find other vendors, other pretty much shops, see if they can hook us up on like any MR2 related stuff. Okay, cool, guys. All right, let's get this cartridge ready to go. Billet wheel. Be careful with the exhaust housing. Put it face down. We'll go ahead and remove the X bar, the intake pipe, intercooler pipe, and then the heat shield for the exhaust manifold. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and put this new cartridge inside that turbo right there, the GT15B. So first off, remove the crossbar, the intake, and then the intercooler pipes, and then the windshield. All right, since we have everything removed already, go ahead and remove this 10 millimeter nut and a 10 millimeter socket nut. And then remove all this right here. This piece for the for the water hose bracket, and then these two for the wastegate bracket. Okay. And then remove this 10 millimeter nut right here underneath this as well. And then we're gonna go on the bottom, and then remove the oil return line, the 12 millimeter bolt. All right. So we went ahead and removed the vacuum hose, the wastegate. Just pull the bracket up and set it aside. Remove the the water pipe, and then this, just leave it loose. So we're gonna go underneath and do the 2 12 millimeter bolt socket for the drain bolt. All right. Okay? So the next step is get the swivel head with a 12 millimeter socket with a long extension. What you want to do is you want to get to that turbo right there. Those two what you can see right there, that side and the other side behind it. So to get to that side, this swivel head will actually fit up there very nicely. All right, so next step would be getting the stud out for the oil return line. Get one of these with a swivel head. Same thing, remove the stud from the cartridge right there. Since we removed the nut already, which is that guy, we have to remove the stud from the front and the back. So this head would be perfect. That's what it looks like. All right, and this is what it looks like right here. That's the stud, the star, the torque, the TRX socket, and then this is the hardest part. It's the one that's in between the engine block and the cartridge. The other one is just simple. You can pull it straight out. But yeah, when you put it back, be careful. Do not cross thread this. Try to put it in pretty much nice and slow, so that way it's nice and even. It goes into the cartridge. All right. Okay. So next step is get a 19 millimeter swivel head, so that way you can get to that the oil return line. The oil feed line bolt. Break it loose, so that way the return line is a little loose when you remove the 2 12 millimeter nut for the return line. So it looks like this, and then you just crack it open. All right. All right, so next step is very carefully get like a rubber mallet and just pretty much bang from this side to this side, back and forth until it looses. Be careful when you pull this out, it doesn't damage the exhaust fin. All right, that's how I remove it. Cool. So remove the old turbo, and watch out for the coolant leak. And we'll go ahead and put the new one in right there. So this car was having oil blowing out of the exhaust side. So this is what's happening. The oil seal is busted. Here's the fully rebuilt turbo by PT. In and out, there's no play at all. Up and down, no play. In and out, no play either. So this is how the turbo should be. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a new gasket on here, put a new gasket on here, and then put a new gasket on the return line. And then we're gonna prime this engine. Very important. We gotta prime this turbo with brand new oil. So put brand new fresh oil into the engine, and then dry crank it. Okay. So do not start the engine. Make sure that the turbo has a lot of pressure with brand new oil. So that way there's fresh oil inside the cartridge, so that there's no debris from the old engine oil. Okay. So let's go ahead and install this into that guy. All right, so earlier when I was down there, this is the stud that I was removing. This thing right here. So that way you can line up. So there's no way you can put this in without actually put the cartridge in without this on. So remove this, put it back in carefully, put it back on. And this is the drain bolt, the oil drain bolt part number. Okay, and then this is for the water bypass, which is this guy right here. Okay, brand new. That's the part number. And then lastly, this is the oil return gasket. And this is the part number for it. Which is this guy right here. Okay, so this is That's the feed. The little one's the feed. The big one's the return. So you want to pump as much oil into this brand new oil into this as much as possible. So that way there's no debris going in there. So fresh new oil, guys, every time you do this. Carefully place this inside. There's a little pin right there for the groove. And that's it. And go ahead and put this bracket on. So that way you put it right here. So that way you can easily remove later on. All right, so next step is pretty much make this tight, but not really tight. Like make it loose so you can turn this turbo up and down. So that way you can put the stud in there a lot easier. Okay. And then once everything's in place, you lock everything down, then you tighten this in the very end. And then that bolt right there too. All right, so go ahead and use this one for the stud, for the oil return. And then this is for the nut, okay? So pretty much that's back in place, that's back in place. So what I did was I used a like a long pry bar, and just kind of push the oil line back and forth so that the stud can go in easily. What I also did was remove this one and remove that one, so that way there's some play on the oil line, so that's easier to put the stud in and the bolt in as well. So now let's go to the top. Let's put everything back together, and then we're good to go. All right, so everything's back in place. Tighten up the V-clamp, 10mm socket bolt. The wastegate bracket going first. The 12 mil here, and a 12 mil here. 12 here, 12 here. And then go ahead and put the water line back in. This is the 12 mil for the water line bracket, and a 10mm socket bolt, nut. Screw it in. And then what I use to put the bottom nut in is use one of the magnet. Stick this inside, and then use your hand and just tighten it down there. And you're gonna tighten this first, then we're gonna tighten up this waterline bracket, put the vacuum hose back on, and tighten up that 19mm socket bolt for the oil feed line, and put the heat shield back on, intake back on, intercooler pipes back on, put oil in there, and then prime the engine so that way there's oil flowing through the turbo. Nice, fresh, new oil. All right, and we'll go ahead and start the car. Go ahead and prime the engine.